well as Showmaker, a world champion.
Yep. And
Barrel, a two-time world champion.
Exactly. Aiming as well, the Gold King of 1 billion weeks in a row as well, which is pretty impressive. TF going to be taken away here as Showmaker has certainly been back on the TF train. There's a reason why he has a skin for the champion, all that sort of stuff. We mention it all the time. But it does mean that now a lot of the pretty obvious bans are likely to slip through.
Yeah, looking at Wukong and Inara. Always going to be looking at those. Pantheon, Azir, Talia, the other outskirt bans. Seen a lot of Varus blue side bans this week, which makes red side a little bit more comfortable, as Orianna will be taken away. That is an interesting one.
So, Aurora still up. Yunara still up. Wukong still up.
Yeah, I think you don't want to ban Wukong here, or they'll just get first pick Yunara with no Wukong into it.
Yeah, let's not do that.
I don't think you want to ban Yunara either.
I think you just ban Azir and then just hope, or ban the Aurora. But you're red side, so you don't want to do that. I think it's Azir. You just have to get rid of that.
You could ban Talia also, but then Bulldog gets the free Azir.
Yeah.
Maybe you just ban Vi. Okay, they ban Yunara.
I don't mind this.
So now we could trade Azir, Talia, which Showmaker is fantastic at both.
Vi first pick is very interesting.
Does keep the comp quite simple for DNF, but I didn't expect this, especially when Wukong is also still available.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that can be picked into this. I think the Gwen is probably a pretty comfy option. The Aurora could also, just Aurora Wukong would be very strong.
Aurora Wukong is insane. Wukong Gwen is insane. You don't have to get the Wukong right now, obviously, since the Vi is locked in, but looks like they're going to consider it. The question is, do you want to take the Talia away so they don't get Talia Vi? Is another consideration, as they're just going to grab the Wukong and use that timer to consider which of those mid picks they prefer. Azir is very strong, but is on a losing streak right now. I think teams overvalued him and have played him in a lot of weird drafts.
Yep.
Actually, the losing streak was broken by Vikla, but was on a losing streak. Has a bad win rate in the second half here of the LCK.
And with the Talia left up, I think it is a little bit of a dangerous one.
I would like to see Talia here. I prefer it to the Azir in this situation, and Showmaker will agree ultimately here. It took a long time to get there, but I don't think that as DN Freaks, you don't play Azir still, though. I think you probably do. They're going to grab Rumble and Ahri, though, so they are going, Vi Ahri, we're turning back the clock a little bit, and this is just going to give over the Gwen Wukong.
So, I mean, Gwen into Rumble is pretty even as far as the matchup is concerned. I'm a little bit worried about, you know, the power levels of Dudu and Xiu at the moment. Xiu has been struggling a lot on tanks, but I think that he could still certainly run the Rift on a Gwen if you do give it to him.
I think that's a very good assessment of some of the recent stumbles of Xiu. It has not been on carry picks like this.
The good old 0-9 Cho'Gath was not really what we were looking out for.
No.
Unfortunately.
I mean, I also think right now, these are 3 of the strongest champions on this patch together with great synergy versus 3 champions on the other side that have are past their prime. Still very strong, but past their prime in terms of where the prio lands. Although it's much easier to execute Vi, Ahri, Rumble than it is to execute the finesse that's required to, you know, Weaver's Wall objectives and side lane correctly with the Gwen. But you should expect that D+K will have that better macro.
Yeah, I think that they should be able to do it. As the Kai'Sa going to be taken away, I actually like that. Kai'Sa Vi is so strong.
Yeah, it's so strong in this draft for DNF. Xayah also strong into this dive, so both of these bans were kind of no-brainers. And now I wonder if you're considering an Alistar ban as DNF, because it really empowers so much of this draft here for D+.
Yeah, Nico is also something worth considering as well.
Definitely.
Might be a trade that they're looking for. The Alistar did take a bit of a hit on the patch, and that has taken down his win rate just a little bit. I wouldn't mind a Lucian ban, so that you can eliminate any sort of doors being set up, as that's a Lulu.
Lulu is
very curious.
Different type of lane dominance, and works incredibly well with Vi, because you Vi ult and then Wild Growth.
Yep. Adds to that Wombo combo quite comfortably.
Jinx also is really strong with the draft that DNF have, because it's easy to get resets. You and I talk about Jinx all the time. People probably think we're crazy because Jinx barely gets played, but she's on the edge.
If they're following LS on Twitter, they would also be yelling at the TV, saying stuff about Jinx.
I mean, the thing is, like, Jinx, I think, is very good. We've seen it as be very fringe, but still incredibly strong in a few different drafts. I think this is one of those drafts. There's the Alistar I mentioned. The Nico could go over just to kind of guarantee a powerful lane on the bottom side. Works well with the rest of this draft, too, here for D+. They have Wukong for Engage, they don't need an Engage champion per se, because they also have the pick potential of the Talia. And we'll go for the Sivir. I think this is actually the safest pick you can grab right now, and Aiming loves it. It's mid-control. It's Spell Shield into Ahri.
Yep, feels pretty good. And if the Vi goes in on her own, doesn't have Smite, then you can also get out of the way of the ulti as well.
The Lucian they did not ban, though, is now going to potentially be how DNF decide to try to crush this lane.
It does mean that you're, like, because the Nico wasn't banned, you're at the risk of just running straight into a Nico as the Lucian Braum, which is less fun.
Yeah, Lucian Braum often feels bad when you don't have other tools to engage and you're not playing into a comp like what D+ are running, but D+ are running Wukong, Gwen into Braum. That feels like a ton of value for Braum, plus the fact that you already have so much other consistent forms of engage. The Nico, like you said, is problematic, but outside of lane, I do think DNF, I mean, they have a comp that's very all-in in what it's trying to do. But it's not Lucian Braum with Electrocute on the Lucian, you know, it's not that all in, but it is very much see target, focus target, kill target, get map control. And if you're even a little bit indecisive how you set up on objectives, D+ Kia, I'm looking at you, just a little indecisive, like this comp just picks a target, presses R, charms it, Lucian goes in, Equalizer gets dropped, fight's over. So, I mean, this is like, I feel like how we should have expected a draft like this to look for DNF into D+.
I would agree. I do think that there are so many clones, and that is going to make getting a culling to work really, really difficult. Not to mention just like target selection in a team fight, there's going to be 7 D+ units just hanging out on the Rift. It'll be very frustrating to deal with. I do think that the Nico also makes the laning phase so comfortable here for D+. So earlier on in the game, I think they're going to be feeling very, very good about how things are set up. But this is going to be a big test for the Quantum Realm, right? Like, he's come out of the gate, he's already changed the momentum, the flow here for DNF. And maybe it's going to continue with a victory against D+ Kia, top of the group. Imagine if the DN Freaks can do that.
This game
still in with a shot, by the way. Like, if they lose, I think they still, like, they are just eliminated if they lose any series from here on out.
That's correct. They have to win every single series.
Yep.
They did the first one since that moment, and let's see how many more they can get.
Yeah, this is... everything's on the line here for the DN Freaks. D+ Kia feels like another day at work, but they're going to have to really knuckle down this time. And Wolf, I have been doing a bit of reflection because I was one of the people that didn't really agree with the assessment of like DK are not very good unless they're facing off against the top tier teams, because I always thought they were pretty good at just punching down, and like it was against the top teams that they wouldn't really be able to like have the same level of play against. I think you might be right, though, because what it seemed like in recent times is that their biggest weakness is lack of respect for their opposition.
Yes, and that's really like, it's hard to make statements like that because you can't back it up with like stats. You know, you can look back and watch a ton of D+ games and remember those particular games. And if you're like us who watch and commentate and analyze every single LCK game, it's a little bit easier to remember those types of moments. But as a fan, when you hear that, you're like, Wolf can't say that about Showmaker, it's not, you know, and it's like, well...
I mean, it wasn't the case a while ago, right?
Yeah,
like,
no,
it has recently become a big thing.
I mean, the reason we talk about Showmaker Majais all the time is because he punched down so hard, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, he was the guy, especially back in like 2021, that year, where they were just untouchable and they were like happy to play close games against against Gen G and T1. On the occasion, because they just won everything else otherwise, and every other team that came close to them just smashed them, and that's why those bro upsets actually felt so crazy, because no East Side team could even touch D+ at the time, or Dom1, really? Dom1 Kia. But like, I feel like in recent times, like the last 3 splits basically, D+ have otherwise looked much better against the top teams in terms of their peak. Like their ceiling looks higher. And sometimes the floor they see when they play against the weaker teams. And the way I look at these two drafts is like I only really look at D+ and go, it's a test, right? This D+ draft has all the tools to win against DNF if they set up on objectives correctly, if they play around Reaver's wall really well, if they play around Aiming's wave clear and get prio and play decisively. Like I think D+ have the better draft and they're the better team and they have the better nameplates. But it's that test that they failed so many times recently which is why I predicted B&K to beat them. And they lost in the exact way I expected. At least this the shot calling problem.
It does make sense. And it's not even necessarily a shot calling problem. It's just that they just get lazy.
Yeah, the coordination problem, I should say more than shot calling. So I don't want to blame one individual shot caller or like say the comms are the issue. Just the setup isn't there. Like it's lazy. It's not as coordinated and as careful as it should be.
But this is. What's happening right now is a bit of a I picked Braum lol type situation.
Yeah.
And it's not quite working. And when a Lucian lane is getting completely pummeled by a Sivir, you know things are not necessarily working the way you wanted your draft to go. Just have to see though, of course, when you park Lucian in the mid lane, that's when things can tend to turn around a little bit. And so we just need to get to a lane swap and get this sorted out. But right now, it is already one plate down. It is just scrounging for whatever they can get underneath this turret. And otherwise, aiming just having a phenomenal time.
Yeah, this is exactly how this is supposed to look for the draft for D+. They had a great answer here. The Sivir was a fantastic pick. Yoshi doesn't look for an early gank here onto Shiu.
Yeah, possible avenue in. That is a big minion wave, and there is no jungler to even see in sight. Lucid has just gone back to base. Let's see whether Shiu can actually survive this. Has already got the exhaust down, and Goshik not going to be able to tank this for much longer. Dudu does connect the harpoon, and they're going to go for round 2. Shiu desperately trying to drink as much potion as possible. Fantastic flash, but still the answering double kill, sort of, is going to come in for Shiu.
Shiu played that so well. Had the mist up early, absorbed a ton of that rumble damage. The exhaust perfectly timed there as well. And then even though Pyoshik is able to get the flash in and Dudu still holding aggro, like they communicated it so well, it's just a little bit too much damage.
That was very uncomfortable, that whole situation.
If Shiu gets 2 kills there, I mean, it's
that's
disaster.
So doomed.
It's still not great for DNF as Shiu, look at this mist is placed here. Pyoshik picks up aggro. Dudu's trying to do as much damage as he can.
The exhaust was so good onto the rumble.
Takes so much of that damage away. And Dudu doesn't have overheat. Has to try to pull this aggro back. Pyoshik flashes in, and if that shield is enough, and only Pyoshik gets executed, it's perfect, but it's not.
And if the minion wave had have actually been there, but unfortunately, it just was a little bit too far away. And so, yeah, even Pyoshik is going to die. That was very weird. He's going to get executed, and so theoretically, maybe it's an even faster back there.
It's a win for D+, but like it's not a huge win.
No. Yeah, this is though. This is 2 plates. This is Berserker just stuck underneath the turret at very, very low health, and is at least able to get that one last minion. The turret has done so much work here for the DN Freaks, as Beryl has taken like 2 turret shots that we've actually seen on camera, aiming just taking one right there.
The key turret matchup, bottom lane versus top turret, which one's going to get more value? D+'s top turret, insane value for them so far this game, but
yeah,
DNF side, without that turret, man, I think the game would be over. I'm going to actually
I'm gonna write down turret POM already.
I'm going to write bot turret. I'm putting the turret POM in bot.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea.
Although that top turret was pretty impressive. I think like Chronicler probably votes top there.
What happens if you put turret in the jungle column?
It's Baron. It's a Baron vote.
Ah, I like that. What if you actually want it to be the grubs though? How do you specify which one it is in the pit?
Ooh, maybe it's like a really small check mark, or like 3 marks.
Ah, okay.
To dictate.
This is really good to know. I didn't know that there was an extended meta. I've been out of the Pong game for a while. You know,
3 marks to denote 3 grubs. And in the old way, you could write a 1 or a 2 to denote first or second grubs.
Well, that is going to be a Drake taken here by Lucid pretty comfortably.
Yeah, and
Ooh, Earth, Wind, and Fire? Possible.
Certainly possible. Certainly a good start in that way. The game here looking for D+ exactly how you want it to look. You know, you have a pretty big lead in the bottom lane as Quantum's going to look for a play.
Yeah, doesn't quite get the stun onto Beryl though, so isn't really going to eventuate in anything.
And it's not that DNF need to have a massive lead in this game, they just can't lose control over the map. And it's a small lead that D+ had, right? And it's in that bottom lane. The failed top dive doesn't necessarily end up mattering all too much for either side. At the moment, a little bit of extra gold for Pyoshik, obviously a little bit of extra gold for Shiu, but he doesn't have a gold lead in this matchup into Dudu so far, as Dudu's looking for another trade.
Actually finds a pretty nice one there. Shiu does hold on to the ulti. Same to be said for Dudu, as we have The needlework coming out, and almost actually killing him here as Dudu says, well, you deserve an ult back. And Shu says, all right, as the wave is going to dissipate. Oh man, Snip really starting to hurt. There's the exhaust down onto Dudu as he gets the flash out.
Man, Dudu is actually walking the edge in this moment.
He really is.
Like, the fact that he was able to, like, he held the equalizer so long when he was getting traded back on moments before. I was like, you might have to drop that. Then he drops it on the wave, then goes back in, flashed at the last possible second. Kind of insane, but this is a win for Shu because he doesn't have TP.
Yeah.
D+ do have full grub control right now.
Yeah, Lucid going to come on over and grab the first one. It looks like DNF might be able to get the next two.
I mean, Showmaker has Weaver's Wall. It's something they need to consider. They need to act fast if they're going to take it back, and they do.
Yeah, and also DK, they're like, we take one, and that is all we really need. That is what they're going to commit themselves to. There's still the bottom side of Lucid's jungle to get through as Beryl.
If they could stop him from backing here, this actually is pretty big. He's laying his back.
Yeah, it splits the shapes. He's going to be fine.
He's fine, but they are sending Gwen to the top side, and it's a free push coming through. There's no pressure bottom side. Pioshik's still on the top side of the map, so it's not going to matter too much. But
yep, playing
that's why
Double
Beryl
Dragon.
Yeah, Double Dragon is certainly quite powerful. Although when both these dragons are out, you know, your RNG chances are a little bit lower from getting a super high roll, but it could still be Hex Soul, could be Cloud Soul. Two good ones.
Oh, Pioshik is back to his worst nightmare as he does see that there is a ward, does get turned off momentarily. Shu does get full information that there is someone up there as there was just momentary darkness.
There is no one bottom side, so
we are ganking the turret.
Yeah, like
Dudu doesn't have flash.
Is just laughing, I think, because
yeah, I
kind of like this trade a lot here for D+.
And with turret blades, 4 people, his tower takes a long time to go down.
And also, Shu has TP, and they're going to win the race.
Yeah, so it is just straight up a race. It's not a base race, it's just a turret race. And even though grub advantage is going to be there for DNF, it will still be this outer turret falling on the bottom side, going over to DK. So,
and that Dudu had to go mid. You know, Showmaker denied some farm as like it was a late rotation over from Bulldog, and I mean there was a lot of XP lost up there top side. The plate goal, like you mentioned, was split between 4 people. I think Bull is going to get most of this wave here.
Yeah, it is going to eventually be a little bit of a gold advantage for DNF. But I don't think that DK are too worried about it.
I mean, they end up getting
control of the bottom side of the map, which is where the dragon's going to be coming up.
Yeah, and they're going to get the feet. I mean, they do have the feet. So that's one of the big wins of that one as well. I think the idea for DNF is like, okay, we wanted to get Shu plus turret. We got seen, Shu leaves. Now we can't just back out or we'll lose out because aiming's already starting to hit the bottom turret. So they had to kind of commit there, and it's not the worst in terms of money. Like, obviously they have a gold lead right now, technically speaking.
Yep.
But I think D+ are happier with how that exchange went.
Anyway, is going to get shoved into Berserker, but he's able to pick that one up pretty comfortably. As now DK, a little bit free on this map to move around. Bulldog's Orb of Deception, not deceiving anyone right now. So who's going to make the next move? Right now, a lot of bottom side vision there for DK. Looks like 30 seconds until this Drake Double Dragon on the minds of DK still. That is going to be where we're going to be setting up next.
Yeah, they really grouped a lot towards top side there, pulled a lot of resources from DNF. And DNF do clear that vision up, but like you said, the real prize is bottom side. That's where D+ now have a lot more control, and DNF are going to have to close that gap. 10 seconds until spawn, though. And they don't have a ton of mid-prio here. Sivir just showing up now to clear this wave. Yeah. I just don't know how DNF engage this right now without a great target, as aiming might be that target.
There's the Shape Splitter to block. And yeah, it does a heck of a job against the culling.
Well, that is alone enough to get them into the Dragon Pit.
They will be able to move on over. Let's see how much of this vision they can actually clear out as Lucid just completes the Trinity Force. I don't think that they have enough time to be able to take this one down. She also getting his first item. There is one done for Pioshik. He does have the Sundered Sky. That is a big power spike, and he has started off this dragon. Barrel's going to move in. We'll get information, I believe.
This is a bit of an awkward spot. Like, Shiu is so far away, aiming is so far away, has to catch that mid wave. I think DNF should be able to get this. If D+ try to both clear that wave and fight here, I think it might be a mistake.
Teleport coming in. There is the Pop Blossom. It does connect as Lucid gets the Cyclone over Berserker and does manage to knock up Bulldog there as well. Lucid finally does go down, and some needlework is flying all over the place. Pyoshik is just going to be able to complete the heist, though. Takes down the Drake, and it's Hextech this game as well.
Boy, the high roll is there. It's not double dragon for D+, though, and yeah, that was a really risky exchange, to say the least, there on the side of D+. Did not have prior to that. As I said, they commit the TP for Showmaker. He's not able to Weaver's Wall anything, though, on his entry. So watch this again. Like, look at where Shiu is right now, where aiming is. They're just not here, which is why the engage comes in so quickly. Barrel ends up having a decent ult here, but Berserker can flash out. The reason why this fight ends up being relatively close, though, is because of that ult from Barrel, because Berserker just cannot get in. He cannot actually apply damage here, and Bulldog is so mobile. Pyoshik has his charge Q to get out, so they get out with just that kill. But I think if that ult doesn't go onto Berserker and he has free reign in that fight, D+ will lose a lot more.
Yeah, I do. I think that Barrel was flashing expecting Berserker to instantly flash, but the fact that he didn't and then got over the wall meant that they weren't actually able to lock down that kill, and could have been a lot worse for DNF, as I think Berserker playing it the way that he did was able to get them all out of there and allowed their jungler to be still alive.
Yeah.
Get the smite off onto the Drake. So really beautifully done there by DNF.
Both sides, I think, playing it about as well as you could have there. And Barrel's ult was nice. You know, Berserker getting out there allows them to save the play. And Bulldog has that ult, just barely able to escape himself. Just a really close exchange there.
How did that Blaze miss? That was kind of crazy.
I don't know.
Whack. Well, aiming is going to be able to clear out the wave with 2 items, or, you know, 1.5 items. He is very, very comfortable doing so. So the Sivir is just going to be parked here, keeping up the tempo. As far as tempo vibes are concerned, though, I'm feeling like DNF are starting to move their direction.
Yeah, I mean, it's early to say, but the fact that they were able to pull off that heist, I mean, to call it a heist, I feel like is at the end it ended up being one, but I thought it was a good call overall. Showmaker's gonna have to leave. I mean, small moments like this make you feel like they got the tempo vibes for sure. Talia Weaver's walling out of the side lane doesn't feel good. However, a lot of control to Shiu in that matchup bottom side, but again, no fighting right now. If we just sit back and scale, D+ definitely feel like they are winning.
Yeah, aiming is currently about 400 gold ahead, 20 CS up. Double buffs here as well is feeling pretty nice. Does need to avoid getting hit by all the piercing lights, but I don't think he's too worried about it. As Pyoshik now looking for the Rift Herald, and Lucid is relatively close by. They spot this out. See whether there is going to be a fight, as aiming is down to 50%.
Yeah, there's no Weaver's Wall here. This is going to be really tricky unless D+ can find a shove angle.
Shiu can teleport in, so that could be a big deal. Warrior Trickster does come through from Lucid. That keeps his health bar high, but they're not going to be taking this Rift Herald away.
They got the TP out of Dudu, and Shiu's going to have some side pressure here on this turret, but he's just going to rush down. He won't be able to get the turret, but I think that's all D+ is going to get in the cross here is a little bit of health off of it.
Nice seismic shove there onto Quantum, but he just has a door, so it's all fine. Decent amount of damage. Well, I say decent. There's a bit of damage done to this inner turret. That is all that Shiu's really able to put together.
And this Herald is quite important for DNF because they need to play through Prio to win a fight on this next dragon, and that's so challenging when you're playing into a Sivir, right? Like, aiming will just sit in the mid lane and constantly shove those waves in, as he is doing, as you guys can see on the mini-map right now. He does that before a dragon, you can't get in. Weaver's Wall is back up for Showmaker, and then fight becomes a little bit tricky, but if you can use the Rift Herald in mid to then wrestle that Prio away from aiming and get into a fight setup where you can use your Vi already to its fullest potential, you can get the equalizer you're looking for, then I think DNF have a real fighting chance on this next objective. Barrel
does get the snare off, but still has to use the heal to get out of the way of the culling. 2 items are done here for aiming, so it might be that this next Hextech Dragon could be something D+ can play around.
Surprising to see a play here topside right before Dragon, but they're going to look for it.
Yep, Pyoshik does go in. The exhaust down onto Dudu one more time. Let's see whether this needlework is going to help him out. The equalizer is placed down, and Shiu is destroyed. There is feats of warfare and feats of strength over to the DN Freaks.
That's big. They get the feats. Now, how will D+ respond here on this Dragon while those critical ultimates are down? I mean, equalizer was such a low cooldown. If they could stall this out, I mean, he may be able to have it for a fight anyways. He does not have TP, though, and DNF may just look to slow this Drake down and while he continues to push that inner. D+, 25 seconds till that dragon spawns. They do not want to give this over after losing their top laner. She also has TP to join the fight. I think D+ should definitely commit. They have a Weaver's Wall to zone as well.
Yep, she was just probably going to book it towards that inner turret on the top side of the map and then wait, bide his time to get that teleport happening. There is a ping out on that top wave. Takes that Hextech gate in order to get himself over there even quicker. As the DN Freaks, with everyone in the area, due to just a little bit further down south, should be pretty comfortable to make something happen. Orb of Deception not really going to connect there onto Lucid as they look to clear vision. And Showmaker going to start this one up. Pureshik on a flank angle. Looking to make his way in. Rift Herald is going to be parked into the turret here. And now DK getting closed in on by the DN Freaks. Can they coordinate? Can they find the team fight that they're looking for? As Pureshik, the heist is glorious! Just presses Smite and takes the second Drake for the DN Freaks.
That's mine, baby! That's a fantastic steal!
Somewhere there's that guy that keeps posting on Reddit that Pureshik's actually one of the greatest junglers. Yeah. And right now he's sitting at home saying, look, I told you so.
I think he'd be right in this moment. He is also a world champion. We didn't mention him because he's not on D+, but you know, at this point in time, a win like this where you can steal a fight, like this is, D+ like, oh man, they used two ultimates topside. We got Prio here. They don't have a great Herald drop angle. They're gonna drop it bottom. Like this is our Drake, but we got this at least. And the Pureshik's like 52, by the way, I pressed that.
Yep. And also is just able to Vault Breaker out. Like it's not even like a flash angle.
That control ward gave him the ability to do that. He knows they can't see him. He knows.
And it was also just a little bit, maybe it was greedy not to clear out that control ward first. But DK wanted to rush it down as quickly as possible.
And I mean, Pureshik makes that play, and now all of the costs associated with that top player gone, and they just get the gold from it as well. As
oh no, he walked back into the seismic shot, put the door in the wrong direction! Oh no, he went the wrong direction in the quantum realm. He doesn't have that thing that Tony Stark made so that they could navigate their way through the tunnels and stuff and go back to the right thing.
It doesn't take quantum theory to explain that moment.
I don't know what the quantum theory was in that moment.
Yeah.
You need a lot of schooling, and I don't think there was enough.
Well, maybe they can take the gold they got from that, put their quantum bank account.
She was in a bit of trouble. He missed so many of the needleworks as Amy comes over and is able to at least answer and gives at least an extra bit of assist gold. So there's that.
They get the flash out of Dudu as well. He has to flash to secure the kill. So that's a kind of a nice trade up here for D+.
Yep.
Arguably.
But still showing that Dudu has a lot of power here in this side lane.
I mean, look at, like, Sivir's just like, all right, and I got the kill, and I'm going to clear this wave.
I've seen this play before.
Don't walk into this, please.
Lucid is just going to dive on top of him. He does put the door down in the right direction this time, but Berserker, he could be in trouble. The double flashes come in. Beryl reads him like a book, and down goes the Lucian.
And the question we have to ask is, why are we forcing Banana Brush fights here when it's 2.5 minutes before Drake? Aiming just got a kill top, and he's Sivir, and he pushes the wave in.
Maybe this is what KT were looking to do is, all right, there's the engage from Pureshik. He does push Aiming back, but he has a flash. And so he does get himself to relative safety, the exhaust not worrying him too much. And without their AD carry, you start a fight like that, you don't have the DPS.
No, you certainly don't. As Pureshik was not there for that.
They do get the flash out of Aiming, that is good.
That's a big win. I mean, that was a play that made a lot of sense to me for DNF. As Aiming is rotating up throughout all of this, grab red buff. He actually grabs the red buff off the ground, and then he's like, all right, I'll bail you out.
She missed so many needles, but did hit that last one, and so, like, Dudu was then at half health.
Yeah, look at Sivir clear this wave, by the way. Oh, it's gone. Oh, Aiming's here. Oh, you have damage actually on this? Like, look at Berserker. Aiming's like, Berserker's like, I'm fine, I have a full wave. There's no way. Aiming's like, I'm Sivir, you don't.
He very much did.
Broken right now, like,
and now he's got a PF sword as well, so it does not get a whole lot better from here. 1.5 minutes on this next dragon. Thankfully for like that steal from Pureshik is actually a huge deal. It may not be enough to save Quantum as Lucid is looking to kill a Rumble in the jungle. Beryl almost just melts. But he lives his life, you know, at 150 health, you know? That's it's just the Beryl ways. He's now backing on a ward, Giga Chad.
That's his comfort zone.
Yeah, it really
150
is.
Health on a ward next to Otacon.
Limit officially tested.
That was
something.
Almost really bad, but Dudu does not get the kill. And see what this next fight looks like on this Hextech Drake, because it would be Hextech's sole point here for the DN Freaks. As this is Quantum struggling to assess when the correct moment to control brush vision is in this game a little bit. As Dudu tries to go over and save the play. He does not.
No, he doesn't.
But he nearly does, but he does not.
There is a Zhonya's completed here for Showmaker. Not representing a massive amount of damage on this Talia, but he's been hitting the shoves, and that is the main thing. The most important item that has been completed is this Nash's Tooth that is done for Sheer, because these autos are now going to really be hurting.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about like the 2.5 item Sivir in this fight. If they can't kill aiming, like Showmaker has a utility build, but aiming will just do a lot of damage. And
yes.
Even if those shoves don't hit, like this comp doesn't have to be played around shove for D+. It could just be played around Sivir.
And it doesn't need to be like third item Lord Doms or anything that here for the Sivir, because there's no tank, so he's just free to build an Infinity Edge and then just do so much damage in this next fight as Berserker looks for Beryl, who is just dead, guys. But now the fight is going to break out in earnest. The Cyclone's coming in, down goes Berserker, and that is not a fair trade for the DN Freaks, as the equalizer was not really able to do too much. And DK will take a free dragon.
So 2-2 on the Drakes on this one. These fights have been so messy.
Is this double dragon now?
No, it's double dragon's only first two. This is just a 2-2 dragon.
Oh, you'd have to get like 2 in a row and then another 2 in a row on the other side, not 1-1-1-1-1.
I guess that would kind of be a double dragon, yeah.
Yeah, but this is.
Berserker goes in here, and then Lucid finds the angle. You can't play like this around Wukong, or you will be punished, right? They just didn't have enough information to look for a play like that. Beryl is actually correctly like inting there. Like he's like, I'm
tactical inting.
Tactical inting, yeah. He's like,
thank you very much,
out there
Smithy, for that one.
I'm out there. Like maybe you guys should come for me. And then Lucid's there like with the flash cyclone.
Yep.
No, you can't be there.
And when Berserker died, if you were to pause it like right before he gets bonked on the head by the Q out of Lucid, there was also a seismic shove underneath him. Like there were a million ways he was gonna die. Kind of like that movie, you know, The Million Ways to Die in the West, which I saw a clip of the other day. It's been a long time since I've seen that film, but it was very funny.
Well, they got Beryl. So that famous last words of many teams.
Yeah.
They got Beryl. You know, we got Faker, similar vein. Got him. We did lose everyone for it, and the Nexus exploded, but got him. Unfortunately, here for DNF, they've lost a ton of advantages on the map. They don't have a lot of control anymore.
Oh, Shoot does.
I thought he saw that.
He did definitely see that. I think maybe he likes the fight, but he probably doesn't actually. As let's see, there he able to dash, so keeps himself alive for a little bit longer, but is still dead. Lucid now trying to come down, but they're not going to get there in time.
And she had a bit of a rough set of games. In this case, like, maybe he thought he had enough damage with the Riftmaker and Asher's Tooth there to win it out.
They had killed Dudu a lot of times in a row quite recently. Like, they were even on deaths at the start of this play, so...
I gotta assume he had tab up or something.
Yeah, dashing in for that one was not really what you'd expect. But still, it is a nice little catch there from Kyoshik, and maybe just expecting that it was Dudu by himself, but yeah, that is a bit greedy.
Either way,
there's an Infinity Edge for aiming.
It doesn't necessarily matter because, yes, Showmaker is relevant in this game because he has Seismic Shove and Weaver's Wall. And, like, Rocks on the ground, somewhat relevant.
Rock's cool, yeah.
But he's Talia, he's an architect of the map. He's just going to zone in team fights. And Shiu is still on 2 items, so actually doesn't really care about dying there too much, especially because the kill went over to a Vi. And aiming is the main carry. He is the biggest gold lead. It is the most gold in the game. Problem they need to solve.
That
Beryl killing him
the
is
real Beryl. He was trying to trick them there just a little bit, and it did not quite work. As now he's gonna split his shape.
Look at where Lucid was there.
Baron.
Too. He's like, let's try it again. Maybe they'll all in on me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Second time to charm Beryl.
Beryl's so silly. Why is he out there like that? And then boom, Lucid strikes. Lucid didn't have flash this time. But also there wasn't really an angle there. They did not overextend. See if you can win 1v1.
Let's see, because yeah, this is actually an honest one, but the needlework now on cooldown as DN Freaks looking for an angle. Pop Blossom's going to pick up 2 of them though, as now Bulldog could be also, no. Never mind, not isolated because Showmaker jumps off a little bit late and isn't able to land the shove. So the DN Freaks just once again kill Beryl. She was able to push Dudu away.
Yeah, Dudu decided to TP for the fight and didn't even have to equalize, but that means his turret's going to go down. So that's a win for Shiu, who wanted that gold very badly. But now I've seen this one before.
Yeah, I know.
Shiu, I think he knows as well again.
I know this movie. We have seen this one as, all right, well, he's out. Yeah.
Into the death realm, yeah.
Out into the death realm. Yeah, so saying he's out is not it. He was out of the game.
He got 2 flashes for TP.
That is a good point.
And he got a turret. Like, it's not the end of the world for him. The problem is that they lost control over this zone on the map here, where DNF are going to clear Baron vision.
He did also get a 5 in the death column.
That's, yeah, the number goes up.
Indeed. Lucid is hitting the Baron momentarily, but I don't think they're going to actually start that.
I think when you look at the game state here, I mean, Shiu doesn't have TP. DNF, if they're bold, they can actually pull the trigger. Oh,
Speaking of bold, that is a great ward here from Beryl. He could smell it. He's ex-jungler. Not going to be catching him out, but Pop Blossom going to find 3 here as Beryl also connects a fantastic snare. Oh my goodness, they killed him that one time, but then they all just fall. Pureshit caught by the seismic shove. They will take down Lucid, but Showmaker taking matters into his own hands, getting a bunch of flashes, but now sets up the wall and finds the rumble. Nothing Bulldog can do. The flash forward from aiming and the cleanup from DK is swift and decisive.
That's the kind of play D+ fans have been waiting so long for. The clutch, the turnaround, that type of engage from Beryl, the big ult to come through, an insane swift punish that's decisive from Showmaker. This is the D+ that we've seen. This is the Showmaker that we've seen win that world championship. These are the kind of moments you want to have. You see a greedy overextension like this, you're happy to look for the punish.
Beryl, look at my boy fly!
And then Lucid follows up. Showmaker is not going to let them get away. Some really good plays here on DNF side to actually try to get something out of this. They get the stun there barely, and Bulldog is able to pull down the second part of that Q to get the kill, and Showmaker confidently re-engages. Bulldog with a nice stasis here to try to survive. Showmaker will match, and they get routed. They get Baron, and they get the Dragon here as well. D+, Soul Point, now they're going to contest.
Yeah, it is not quite a Dragon.
I thought they got the Dragon, actually, but they did not.
Have not. Lucid is still able to get over here. It's going to be a 50-50, and never mind, it's actually not, because they couldn't get into the pit. Lucid is going to have an exhausted clone as Shiu gets in amongst 5 people and is dead.
I think we're going to have to run that replay back. I think we're going to have to go a little bit before when we jumped into live there.
No, I'm down. I'm down for not. I don't think we need to watch.
I think we need to go a little bit more back. I think we need to press the rewind button a little bit.
Well, we're going to press Weaver's Wall. As DK's still actually pushing.
I mean, they still have Baron, yeah, on most of their players.
Yeah, the ones that are alive, they've all got it. All right.
I just don't know if it's going to be the most effective Baron like it could have been.
1,000 gold on the Red Bull Baron power play. But it's still a 4.8k gold lead. Like, it's kind of massive. But still, DNF with Hextech Soul Point. We have seen Hextech Soul lose.
Well, here's the thing, Atlas. Like, that fight is the exact kind of fight where I was talking about D+. It's D+ versus this comp for DNF. Like, that's this game for me. It's not DNF versus DK. I'm like, can D+ just make the right decisions against this comp that will punish super hard? And on that Dragon, they failed the test, but they got the Baron before it, right? They made the defensive turn on the turret. Moments like this, look at where Showmaker is.
Look at where aiming is, dude.
Yeah,
like he's in the base.
Yeah, like Showmaker also doesn't have Weaver's Wall, so why are we fighting here? What are we doing? This is why, when I looked at the comp for DNF, I'm like, if you just make a silly, they kill you, by the way.
Yeah, don't make it.
Doesn't matter how many thousands of gold you are ahead. If you do a whoopsie, if you do it not good, DNF will press the R buttons, and you know, suddenly you feel like the game is closer. Now it's still not really, right? Like D+ certainly won't do that again, right?
I mean, there's Soul Point, and that is, I think, a big deal. Thankfully for DK, they do manage to get the Baron. So they do manage to at least progress it to about 1,300. It's still going to be very valuable. 5,000 gold is nothing to scoff at, and there's 4 items on aiming. But there's also 4 items now on Berserker, which is kind of crazy that he's been able to put together so many. He is a legitimate threat here in this game. And Pureshit is pretty tanky right now as well. As you can see, 3 items are done. It's a lot of damage with the build, but also with that GA, he's difficult to stop.
I mean, DNF have weathered the storm of this Baron. All they need to do now is not actually just engage into D+ when they're grouped like this, play slow. Because the real prize is the Hextech Soul. If DNF win just one more fight on Dragon or Pyosik steals it away, this game is 100% playable.
Yeah, they just need to like keep their side lanes in order and not int for the next 2.5 minutes.
I mean, they want to engage.
Win another flip.
They want to engage, I think, because they're scared of the scaling Sivir, but I don't know if this is the angle.
Well, there's a Pop Blossom. It's going to connect onto two, but it's the two tanky ones, and there's the cease and desist from Pyosik. But oh my god, he gets shredded in an instant as the Cyclone is doing so much work from Lucid. Down goes Berserker. It's exactly the target they're looking for, and Aiming will be able to chase down Dudu. Lucid is dead once again. He's kind of been doing that a fair bit, and now Aiming with the passive is easily able to run the Rumble down. Speaking of running people down, there's some revenge here for Shiu towards the top side. And TK, maybe it's not about waiting for a dragon to come up. Maybe it's about a little bit more than that. As oh god, the ring around the Rosie is going to come on through. As Shiu, he will be able to at least follow Pyosik over this wall. There's the dash in, Weaver's wall just to stop all the funny business from happening, or wait to join in with the funny
business. Is actually significant that Pyosik buys this time, because...
Yeah, he might actually just be able to get out.
They saved this bottom inhibitor because of it.
Yep, well, that's a great sidestep there from Aiming. As did, of course, still have the GA, but that was just like so weird and comical.
Pyosik just used his charged Vault Breaker to save a bottom inhibitor by tricking D+ into chasing him.
Yeah, they could have also just let him live.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of chasing him that whole time.
Why are we engaging into Nico, Wukong?
The problem was, they weren't. Beryl just said, no, you're not allowed to be in mid lane.
Like, they're fighting for Baron vision when Baron just faded away. Like, we're fighting in the river where D+ are all grouped. Don't do it, D+. Or sorry, don't do it, DNF. D+ absolutely do it. Yes, press your R buttons and punish them.
Yeah,
okay.
And there was a bottom wave that was like knocking on their door as well. So maybe it was a little bit about let's not be overextended in mid lane altogether, and let's maybe do some of the homework.
Now, D+ are going to get this dragon. It's not Hextech Soul for them. But it's just a nice way to rush this one down and then go back to set up for Baron. DNF are going to try to clear as much vision around Baron as they can because they know this isn't Soul for D+, and they can play around Baron themselves. But D+ can then also group and threaten that bottom inhibitor because Showmaker has his ult, he's level 18. And if they grab an inhibitor plus Dragon, you know, the Baron might not necessarily matter. Showmaker also has TP.
Yep. Shiu is just going to come and take this inhibitor turret. Nothing they can really do about that one as Beryl's moved on over as a fake version. Oh, Pyosik is going to steal away the enemy red buff. And so there's that. Showmaker's moving up, looking for him, as Pyosik will just walk over and say, hi, Showmaker, how you doing? And
got his verdant barrier?
Away. Yeah, the good old, like, this is the most utility build out of a Taliyah I have ever seen. It's the, I just would prefer it if I didn't do damage, actually, type build.
Yeah, I also would prefer it if they can't do damage to me.
Yes. There's the Banshees. Let's actually go back and complete it. A couple of control wards there in the inventory as well.
Actually, I didn't realize that the Banshees didn't reset the verdant barrier. I thought it would be up when he bought it. Interesting. At least the cooldown shows on the item in our screen.
Yeah, I think it's the same name as the, like...
Yeah, I don't know why. I just thought it would reset. Huh. Thanks for that one, Showmaker. Today we learned.
I mean, technically, the like the arm guard, that resets.
Yeah. Lucid is being engaged on. He is a Wukong.
That is a fantastic charm to come on through there as Beryl finds himself a Pop Blossom. Aiming's amongst it, but I don't know whether he really wants to be. The spell shield's decent. And Lucid is going to find himself on the floor. DNF, they get the target they're looking for. They make their way out. Could this mean Baron? Because there's no jungler here for TK.
I mean, they also have no ults, really, to try to engage here. Dudu sitting on his equalizer. He's just going to play passively. As long as he doesn't get caught, he can get a ton of value here. You're going to see a TP from Bulldog, but that's going to buy some space here for D+.
Oh, their health bars are going down pretty low. Tanking this Baron has looked like a bit of a difficulty as now Pyosik gets on top of Beryl. He wants to get back. Okay, they are just going to back away. It's Bulldog. That teleport was insanity, but he does manage to get the kill onto Beryl. A little bit of a mistime there on the seismic shove, but I don't know, man.
That was
like the
so
queen was just taken by a pawn is what it looked like to me.
That was so indecisive. Notice the equalizer in that fight. Oh wait, it's not, they didn't use it. Dudu was on the flank. They had so many zoning tools. They have
just burst the Baron? Yeah,
also, look, DNF had, there was a minion wave pushing through. They back. We're going all the way back to the initial pick on the Lucid. This is fantastic here, and D+ did not have any vision on this Baron because they were playing around bottom side instead. They get caught here. Baron is being started now by D+ on live, so let's go back to that.
Okay, well,
Equalizer's still up for Dudu.
They have some information as this is going down very low. Pyosik is just going to get thrown out, but he manages to get the ulti off. He's inside the pit. Can they kill him in time? No, they can't! Once again, the Thief is going to be able to do it. The flash away from aiming, though, and these shurikens hurt so much! It's almost an ace. There is at least a Baron or two left alive. Yeah, Berserker and Dudu, they've got one. Okay, Dudu's is short-lived. He does do some sidestepping, but it's not quite enough. Look at the tankiness of this Showmaker right here.
I mean, ending this game is not possible, though. I don't think the inhibitor's going to respawn. Like, there's no way Aiming can just walk up and do it. Like, so we kind of reset, and this next dragon will actually be Hextech Soul no matter who takes it. But man, I swear these two teams are just the same, Atlas.
I just think Pyosik has an absolutely immortal smite button, man. It does extra damage.
But he also has an equalizer. The rest of the team is zoned away here. This is a very risky call from the side of D+. And Aiming is carrying this game for them. Like, it's Pyosik versus Aiming in this game as far as I'm concerned in terms of the value we are
I think
seeing.
Showmaker as well is doing a fantastic job. Look at, like, 1-7, 4-6, and then 4-0-8, 9-0-9.
Yeah.
Like, these carries are going insane.
They
PK.
are, but they need to make sure that they get all their ducks in a row in this next fight, because we saw the really scrappy fight.
Do you know what the ducks are called? Shiu and Lucid.
Yeah, I'm going to need those ducks.
And a bit of Beryl, but we already knew. I think that our expectation... I love that it's like Shiu's like a rookie. He's been around for a really low amount of time.
It's so fun.
And we're like, Beryl, I mean, he's not going to change.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like... It's funny that the Berserker's the one who has the Baron bombs. Pyosik's just going to face check.
Okay, Weaver's Wall is going to mean that he can't get out and he's just dead. Pyosik giveth, Pyosik taketh away, as he is dead for longer than the timer on the Drake. And so that's Hextech Soul.
That might just be the game. That might actually just be it right there. D+ had control over the Baron, or sorry, the Dragon Pit, which is more valuable than Baron right now. And Pyosik face checks, and that's it.
Do you know that word, what is it, anticlimactic? It's a good word.
Yeah, this game had quite a few near climaxes, didn't it?
It did. It was on the edge, but it didn't quite reach greatness. As DK, they may not even need a Hextech Soul. They are going to take 2 inhibitors and then back away, so it is going to be Hextech Soul that they will gather for themselves. Look for another reset. It's a 3,000 gold lead for Asiva. She's got 6 items.
Yeah, this is a Rise group game.
It is. You are absolutely right.
I don't know what else to tell you guys, but Pyosik, like, if you look back at it, I don't know if we will. Look at all the vision that's still there, by the way. I was going to say, you look back at the replay, you see the vision's there. It's still there for D+ around the Dragon Pit. They have a comp that absolutely smashes you if you face check. And, like, see the vision? See the clear? Lucid knows. Pyosik doesn't know. Pyosik's just trying to go over here and get
Lucid
information.
walks out of the sweeper vision as well. It's nicely.
Yeah. Quantum has to flash out of the shove. And that's 2 inhibitors off that play alone.
He had flash, just didn't have a way to use it. Get himself to safety as Pyosik, once again, just going to walk in and press R. Pop Blossom is going to be the answer, though, as Pyosik is dead once again. This time he takes Quantum with him, and Bulldog has to ult to get himself out of the wall. It was beautifully placed there by Showmaker, and now Berserker, he needs to throw the culling out in every direction. He needs to transform into Samira, as there is the shove to collect him as he's coming back up again. That Guardian Angel just not really doing anything. And the DN Freaks, man, they made this competitive for so long. As she turns up, goes golden,
Can we go
dashes away.
Can we go 8?
Well, actually, I think that she might actually finally find himself an angle, and there it is. Gets the solo kill onto Bulldog as the game is well and truly over. Showmaker just, surprise Teemo. No surprise here at all, I don't think, here for DK at the end, but they had to work for it here in this game. And man, if you're a Pyosik fan, you would have, that must have been a difficult one to watch.
I think for 7 players whose names are not Pyosik, Showmaker, and Aiming, you do not want to be in a coaching booth right now after this game.
I mean, I don't know. I think there was, and Showmaker, like, Pyosik did need to try and get into his jungle to try and get stuff, and I think it was actually, like, the vision was played around really well by DK, so I don't want to harp on about that too much, but him dying there lost the game.
Three players maybe in our esports bathroom right now together being like, you've been contacted by any legend team. That was, on both sides, there were serious issues. Obviously, D+ playing the much better, much more controlled game of League of Legends, but that test I said they had to pass against this composition, they failed at. Luckily for them, not the most critical moments several times, but they had such a lead from the early game that Shiu nearly dying 8 times there wasn't enough to turn the tides. Barrel getting caught was used as a boon for them. Showmaker following up that big play in mid, that turn on the outer turret in mid, I think was really one of the big decisive moments for D+. They made some mistakes after that, but they never really left the control back to DNF. But man, I feel like we might be in for a 3-game banger if that game 1 is anything to go by.
We certainly might be. The DN Freak's probably not going to move off the blue side, so we are going to see what they're going to make of it once again as we come back from a short break in the space. Oh God, I'm sorry guys. I hope you've got something prepared after that game. We'll see you soon.
근데 우리 나 여기 바이 나 봐줄게. 봐줄 수 있어.
나 W 씹어도 돼. 야, 이거 뒤에
야,
개좋다, 개좋다.
각 해줘, 각 해줘.
나 이거 루시안 지를게.
갈게.
루시안 와봐, 루시안 와봐.
가는 중 우리.
루시안 노플?
왔어? 말이 어디 갔냐?
루시안 노플, 루시안 노플.
루시안 아리
미드라인.
내가 할게.
얘네 인포에도 있어. 텔 탈래?
나 있어.
And we were considering them to be the strongest team at that time with the same roster.
Yeah.
Now, even though the standings say otherwise, they might be our 9th best team in the LCK, which is insane. And I want to see a turnaround here because that last game, like I said, was not convincing. Anyone could have won that.
I think they're still better than DRX.
I think they're better than DNF in game 1 of this series, but we'll find out soon.
That is a very good point. We'll just have to see how things are going to be turned around. See whether or not there has been some adjustments in the mindsets of both Shiu and Lucid, who are playing some fast and loose League of Legends last time around. Yunara and Varus both going to be taken away here immediately. Yunara on blue side is actually kind of interesting here. I wonder what DN Freaks are going to be angling for.
It's interesting because there's no Vi, there's no Wukong.
Yeah, it felt like
there's no Talia, there's no Nico. Like, I'm like, I want Yunara in this case every time. We see Berserker play it last time, how well he played it.
Yeah.
Maybe they're concerned about Nocturne, but either way. There's going to be a Orianna to be banned away. Perhaps DNF want to play some sort of other dive or engage comp, and this Ambessa first pick, which is quite unusual, does kind of indicate that that in fact is true. They don't want to play a slow, scaling composition.
Yeah, and maybe this means what they want to do is capitalize on the fact that Shiu was having a little bit of a rough time in the last game. And Dudu's like, no, just pick me Ambessa, it's time. Might be the angle. Ryze going to be a consideration in game 2. Ryze has really grown in popularity as, oh God, it's kind of terrifying when you see big giggles like that out of Showmaker as they lock away the Trundle here for Lucid.
Trundle could be paired with the Ryze, and it gives you a lot of power inside. We don't know what that top lane matchup is going to look like just yet.
Yeah.
But there was a consideration of Aatrox and Aurelia in the hovers. Hopefully the Aurelia just stays a consideration. The Aatrox could be a pick like this a lot more.
I mean,
you have Trundle on your side.
It's a self-counter pick, though. I don't know, like, oftentimes, like, Ambessa is just chosen into tanks.
It means, though, that you're probably not going to get solo killed and you don't have to do a lot of finesse. And we've already mentioned multiple times Shiu's inability to do said finesse.
Okay, Jarvan.
Jarvan into Jace feels pretty good. Galio feels pretty good with this composition. They already have an insane top side of the map to dive on any immobile backline target.
Oh, it's Kassadin time. Come on, Showmaker. You can do it.
Maybe it should be like Ezreal time and just play safe like Ruler did in the last series and stay away from those frontliners. Maybe stay back.
Maybe it's Twisted Foot. Aurora, okay. That's a consideration. As of course, this could also be a flex, as Showmaker has played a lot of Jace in the mid lane as well. Has an okay matchup into the Galio.
I don't think you want to try to play Xayah into DNF's comp, because there's just too many ways to get on top of her, but we always see teams go, well, it's a dive comp, it's got a hard engage, we want to stay away from that and go for the Xayah. So DNF will probably ban Xayah. The other pick, again, that I'm thinking of in terms of safety for the AD carry is going to be the Ezreal.
Corki. I think Corki is fine.
Yeah, Corki's a solid shout. Kai'Sa, obviously going to be banned here because of the same things. Like, this second part of the ban phase feels so obvious. We usually, what's the front line, our solo lane archetype? Okay, we ban the AD carriers that are good into that or strong with it. It happens every time. That's why Xayah goes in this spot like almost every game. Fearless baby.
Yep.
And so I think that one's going to be locked in. What comes next, though, is what gets a little bit more interesting, because the Corki, like you mentioned, does feel really good here, actually, for D+.
I think paying attention to the support options that Beryl has is going to be a good one. Poppy, a big deal. I think Alistar, a great choice as well. The Rakan still up and available at the same time.
Rakan, yeah, really scary for DNF to play into. We don't know what the AD carry is going to be for D+ here, but Rakan could get a lot of easy follow-up value in this draft.
Yeah, I think I could almost see DK banning that one away here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's actually fairly decent on both sides.
Yep.
But I think D+ should probably ban it. Ban the Lulu instead.
Okay.
Again.
Taking that one away from Quantum does deny some of the more hyper-carry comps that could be coming through here from DN Freaks. And with the Galio in mid lane, I think a hyper-carry does fit the composition quite nicely. Let's see what this last ban is going to be. Pick your poison, Alistar, Rakan, one of those, and the Alistar is going to be taken away.
I like this because I thought we were just going to see that, you know, it's just a Xayah ban no matter what, even though I don't think Xayah is strong here. Tristana, really interesting option.
It looks a little bit like CV Max is cooking something up right
now.
Yeah. That might be the Tristana angle.
I wonder what the answer is going to be. Tristana very safe into this comp as well, but also does a ton of damage and is incredibly punishing into it. And can even use its engaged against itself. Now, instead we're going to see the Corki that you mentioned.
Okay.
And this is a strong pick. I think you and I both universally agree on that. And CV Max ultimately decides it's better than the Tristana here. Although I thought the Tristana was pretty cool.
I like the angle, you know, because like you got a flag and dragon Jarvan looking for you. You're like, ha.
You just Buster shot him back into the team and you're like, I win.
Yeah. That could be the angle. But instead, they do just opt in for a little bit more early game damage. This is the problem, though, right? And this is what they sort of get for banning the Lulu instead of the Rakan. The Lover's Duo just comes through here for the DN Freaks without too much recourse.
And what do you play into this? Are you just going to go for the Nautilus? You're going to go for Rel? Rel being the main form of engage here with a Jace into this comp, so scary. Nautilus at least denies you the ability to dive turrets a little bit. Janna for Beryl?
That's actually so
It's actually so sick in this comp.
Look at
so much value, the knockups.
Like, the amount of disengage is insane, man.
Finally, a team is willing to lock it in. Beryl has hovered it in these types of situations so many times. This is one of those picks we talk about in these types of niche scenarios where we're like, it's LCK, we never do anything weird. We never actually think outside the box. We never actually lock it in, even though everyone knows it's a solid option. But they're going to lock it in.
This
and
is
also, look
so
at this.
rad.
Look at this swap as well. Shiu playing the Aurora top into the Ambessa, and then they get the Jace mid. This feels way better to me than the other way around where Shiu has to play this Jace.
I called this at the beginning of the draft. It was just kind of beautifully orchestrated here by DK. This Janna option from Beryl will give them disengage for years. Like, if you remember back to Janna metas of the past, it'd be like Janna Gragas versus like any amount of engage that you could ever want, and no one can ever get to your backline ever. Unfortunately, there isn't a massive amount of range for DK to play around, but still, I could see this being an absolutely monstrous addition to this comp if they can make it work.
I think it's also relatively dangerous. Now, if you're not able to get those disengages off, you're a very fragile support. If you're behind in map control, if you're trying to clear vision, you're going to have a hard time. But in 5v5s, the value cannot be denied.
This is very, very cool. It's also Toboggan Corky as well, which I think is a great throwback. Let's get on the Rift game too.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. On to the Rift for the second game of this series. DNF, they kept it so close for so long in game one. And we're looking to see whether Xiu and Lucid can really sort of tighten up the gameplay just a little bit here for the DK fans. And on the DNF side of things, can we actually correctly explore the Quantum Realm this time around? It was a 3-game series last time, and they did manage to win up against DRX. They're going to have to do the same thing up against DK, bring us to that third game in this series.
Lots of pings going down here, but it's a passive 5-point start.
Oh,
Showmaker on the Jace has been... It's a rarity these days, but it was pretty normal, pretty much a staple pick. Showmaker was one of the kings of swapping picks like the Jace and the Renekton into the mid lane. And this is one of the things we heralded about the flexibility of D+ for so long, is picks like this, the Talia that we also saw Canyon play jungle a lot. And level 1 here, gonna feel pretty good if you can find an angle as Beryl.
Yep. Beryl not actually opting to go for the Weather Woman skin, which I am a big fan of for the Janna. So voice lines, they're just so incredibly good with that skin. But instead, I think this is one of like the super old ones from well and truly back in the day. Beryl, a little bit of a connoisseur on the more elderly skins.
Yeah.
So I can respect it. Aiming also with one of the oldest skins ever, celebrating like the 2012 Winter Olympics or something. I don't know, remember exactly which year.
I hope that Reckless is watching. That's all I can say.
All right, well, it has been a while. 1,300 days since Lehens won with it against the Kwandong Freaks. Oh dear.
Hoyt.
It was Hoyt last time, who was Beryl's first lane partner.
Yeah.
When Beryl was an 80 carry.
That's right. And same org in that DNF is the new name DN's new name sponsor for Kwangdo Freaks.
Yep. A lot of,
there you go. A lot of connections there.
Certainly is. Pretty cool stuff. As once again, DK with a little bit of lane control. It's the Lovers duo not quite able to hit level 2 first or anything like that. Still able to stay relatively close as far as farm only 1 the difference between the 2 squads, so nothing really to write home about. Level 3 gank for the Jarvan.
Yeah, this is a Jarvan moment. Try to punish Xiu. She is Aurora that, or he is Aurora that he is looking to gank here. Oh. Still a potential opportunity.
Does get the information, but there are the dashes from Dudu. Gets on top of Xiu. Can he actually get himself out of the way of this one? What? Okay.
Well, that wasn't the flash direction that was going to save him, but if he was going to do that, might as well not use it at all.
Yeah.
Either way, he is dead, and he lost his flash, and the kill went over to Dudu. We can say the facts, and we'll leave that flash up to everyone's interpretation and imagination.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it again. Yep. Let's hope that there is no replay, and we can just move on from there. Maybe we need a Chronicle cam as the replay comes up, and we'll just see how he feels about the replay.
No, but Chronicle was right about this Challengers player. She was
really nice tornado there from Beryl.
I want to taunt Chronicler about this one. This one just feels sad.
Yeah. There are quite a few like shieldable targets as well. Obviously, Beryl's E is going to be pretty good for making sure that you can get a bit of extra damage out of your carries. And so onto Showmaker, onto aiming, going to allow for a lot of like poke and things like that, which is pretty cool.
Just a small thing, Lucid did take away the Krugs here, was able to get that cross map, and Pyoshik just found out. So, you know, at least there was an exchange.
Yep.
More than Beryl's tornado. A little bit of trade back, but this go for Xiu, put Xiu out of the game strategy seems to be working pretty well for DNF so far.
Yeah, not too bad. There is still a 9 CS lead for Xiu there towards that top side, but there's no teleport used yet here for Dudu, and he's also taken Electrocute.
If they do this again, like, it just becomes so problematic for Shiu. Or if he ends up just getting out-traded, because 2 longswords come through, and like you said, the electrocute procs here.
And
It's common to see this electrocute in the matchup, but still, I mean, he's using it really well.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you want to do. Like, go for those short trades, try to capitalize, and if you are going to have your jungler kind of camp, it does make you deadly if you do get a little bit of an advantage. But he's still sitting on teleport. Like, that's the crazy thing about it.
Yeah, I mean, he can force these issues repeatedly. Getting the kill, though, now is kind of what they need to do if they're going to get more value out of it, as the wave has crashed in here to Shiu. Tunneling Claw for Pyosik means he's got a little bit of extra damage. They're going to play for this. Yeah. I don't know if they should, though. There's no wave.
Yeah, so Dudu might be able to clear this next one, but, I mean, it's a couple of long swords, and he walked back to lane. Maybe he wants to go for another reset, does now have that public execution, as Pyosik gives Shiu the thumbs up.
It's such a smart play, because you know that either A, Shiu messes it up, or he doesn't play respectfully, or can't clear the wave, and then you dive him and you kill him. But if he doesn't, then you crash the wave, he has to back. And then if you flag drag because you're Jarvan, you stop that back. He doesn't have TP. Like, you mentioned this so long ago, and it's finally really starting to come to a head here.
Yeah, now they're even. They're completely even in farm because that entire wave was missed on the top side of the map. So even if there wasn't actually a gank that went down or anything like that, it is still Shiu so incredibly far behind. Lucid is still going to be able to get this dragon most likely. So not end of the world.
Well, now they can swap the lanes to where they wanted them to be with this top side Galio. Put Bulldog into the Aurora matchup.
Yep.
And, you know, it's been a pretty good series for Pyosik, I gotta say. You know, we were joking about the one fan who was like, no, Pyosik's actually one of the greatest, but he's having a good day.
He certainly is.
And face checking at the end of game 1, I think doesn't actually delete all of the great plays he's had.
Nope. And also, like, someone had to face check.
Exactly.
That moment. So not really going to be too much of a big deal as the taunt does connect, but not really anything to come of it there towards the top side of the map. Pretty even across the board here between both of these teams, but a 400 gold lead is going to be represented by the DN Freaks, largely because of that first blood going over to Dudu, as Beryl has found a few of these decent tornadoes, but right now you can see aiming taking a lot of damage. Actually gets lit on fire just for fun here by Quantum.
Yeah, Quantum's got unsealed, so low cost to just drop that and guarantee the lead.
Public execution is going to connect onto Showmaker, who tries to boop Dudu back, but the turret is not going to be there in time. My God, this Ambessa is so strong right now.
Dudu's having a bit of a resurgence late in the year.
Yeah.
He has had some really great moments, especially in 1v1s. Threatening another solo kill here, and is going to get a plate gold, or get some plate gold out of it. Showmaker also does not have teleport, so he's going to have to run back as fast as he can. Luckily for him, he is Jace, so can just use his transformation and his gate to speed his way back, but even still, it's going to take quite some time. A wave will be lost.
Yeah, there's a lot of CS that's being lost just by Dudu outlaning his opposition. It's pretty impressive.
It's now a plate that goes over to Dudu as well, who still has TP, by the way. It's,
yeah.
He can make these impacts and then be anywhere, as we are going to see a TP behind Showmaker.
All right, it is definitely a pretty aggressive one. There is no flash available as DK are going to get charmed up momentarily. There's a heroic entrance. Lucid is the one that gets knocked up with that one, as he does use the subjugate finally. Flashes away, will be able to get that health bar back, but Berserker follows him, and he's able to lock down that kill. Decent tornado there, but Beryl, I don't think he's getting out of this one. As Between Worlds goes Shiu, but doesn't really find very much value for it. The flash, the desperation, but they do manage to get the kill onto their Zyres. Over the wall they go. Dudu now diving back in, and the solo kill in the bottom lane is so nice, but now aiming is just auto-attacking them down, and he picks up a triple DNF! Guys, it was fine.
Yeah,
it was okay.
When they saw the double time, they were going to stay, and oh boy.
He is just dead. Well, he does try to get out, but he's not going to work. And that is just Pyosik finding the right lance at the right time.
Well, there's a bit of an aiming stripe in this game, but otherwise, big DNF tempo vibes right now, Atlas. A big swing from what we saw there at the end of last game, where things were decided somewhat abruptly, anticlimactically. As Dudu, let's watch this. So Showmaker just gets up here and tries to space him, and then he realizes he's playing against Ambessa, so there is no spacing with this champ. Dudu flashes, gets on top, gets the last hit.
Oh, and there it is again.
Oh man, look at that player cam. You saw that, right?
Yeah, that was also first pick.
There it is
Just
again.
Getting the work done. Yeah, Showmaker's like, it was not very good, everyone.
You know, if you read that in a book, you know, and then Showmaker slumped down in his chair.
Yeah.
Doesn't fully do it justice because he's got that Showmaker grin, but when you see that Showmaker grin, if you're a D+ fan, you know it's not a good thing.
Yeah,
We've seen that one in some of Showmaker's worst moments. But this is one of Dudu's best.
This is a great look for Dudu, as we're going to have a look. Oh, did Beryl actually just... okay, fair enough.
That's what
just
happened.
takes a grub. I
this
like
just an
that
ult?
replay more than this one, because this was just Showmaker getting ulted and obliterated.
Just walked around the left side of the fat wall.
Yeah.
And got max range ulted.
So that's 1,000 gold in the lead here for Dudu against Shu. They are even on farms, or at least there's that for Shu. But once again, Showmaker is back in this lane against the Ambessa. Let's see whether he can keep himself alive this time around. 0-2-0.
I mean, look
not
at
what he wants.
Look at the items, or lack thereof, right now for Shu as well. Like, if they wanted to swap back and put the Aurora into the matchup with the Ambessa, like, he doesn't win that either, as they're going to commit Lucid up here. He's going to sweep and look for a gank. Maybe they could bait Dudu. Let's see if he falls for it with the cannon.
He is going to be able to get that cannon, as now Dudu thinking about going aggressive.
His ult's back up. So maybe Showmaker baits him.
He's just playing it so safe, though. You can see the Trundle has already gone back. Showmaker is able to get that wave shoved, so not end of the world or anything like that as aiming. He has a lot of money. Trinity Force completed now. The Corki is the win condition for DK.
100%.
As aiming just generally is.
Remember when
so
they
good.
used to only play through aiming and give all the CS to him?
Yeah.
I think they should probably go back to doing that.
Let's do that again. That's a good idea.
Oh, that does seem like a winning strategy for them at the moment. It worked out really well in game one.
Well, you can see he's being quite frustrating for the bottom lane of DNF right now in mid lane. Yeah, continuing to do so. Just gets the little Janna shield, just uses it to trade.
This is mini barrier.
Yep.
This is just a dragon, looks like here. I don't know if they can fight this. Bulldog is unseen.
Yeah, there's the Justice Punch on Shu. Still going to get taunted up. Does eat some honey fruit as out goes Pioshik, and Lucid says, all right, well, I think I might be the one taking this dragon. DNF is still having to deal with aiming just being the most annoying little toboggan rider ever. Look at this damage with the Trinity Force. Berserker is not going to be fighting this, but it is enough to get DK off this dragon, and Bulldog picks up the aggro once again.
This is really greedy here for DNF. They need to be decisive, and they are certainly not.
Yeah, that is an exhaust down onto Quantum. The dragon is going to be secured this time as Lucid. Okay, that's what he did. He went into the practice tool, and he just practice smites.
Yeah, I was going to say, rare miss from Pioshik on this one. 93, I think, was the number at the end. Well, what's so surprising about that exchange on the initial part was Pioshik was there on Dragon. They had Shu, no flash, by the way, in a really awkward spot. I thought they were just going to turn and drop Dragon. They did not. And then they held Dragon, took a bunch of extra damage, and then couldn't decide whether they wanted to commit onto aiming, who had Valkyrie, or commit to the Dragon. And they kind of half did both. And D+ were like, all right, we'll play this 50-50 out. They win it, and this game is still really close.
Yeah.
Even though we've seen this complete dismantling of the side lanes early, they are still a Jason Aurora who have been able to continue to farm CS. I mean, they're dead even in farm, basically only 10 CS the deficit for Shu in that top lane matchup. So good recovery here for D+, and 2 Drake lead into Cloud Soul, feeling pretty nice.
Yeah, and it has to be like this, right? They're a poke comp that doesn't have any engage. And so staying ahead is going to have to be the aim of the game here for DK. So they want to play around their range advantage and make things work that way.
Remember, Bulldog got that same taunt combo onto Shu when Pioshik was there with Flash Cataclysm. They didn't want to commit and played it super slow. I think they wanted to save that ult for aiming. And, you know, D+ are like chilling because they played it so slow as well. They're like, oh, if you guys aren't going to commit, we'll just let the Dragon actually do the work.
Yeah, they just wait for it. Aiming here just gets a shield from Beryl, who just continues to walk away and get as much vision and things like that as possible. Getting wards down is going to be a little bit of a difficulty later on in the game, even though Janna does have a fair bit of that movement speed. It's not quite what it used to be, but still, you're able to use that tailwind quite effectively. Is aiming with this shield from the Janna, I think gets like an extra buff in his playstyle, where he just goes real crazy.
He is in a really nice spot in this game and is going to continue to try to leverage those advantages.
Oh god, okay. Shock Blast is going to push Berserker out of this lane as in goes Pioshik, but he immediately gets knocked up. The Janna is being so frustrating as there is Quantum making his way in, but the tower does go down. They do take out the Trundle as Bulldog just gets moved back. Great flash to get out of the way of Dudu. That could have been 3 dead because this Ambassador is so big. The hammer does come down once again. Great knock-up from Beryl. But DK, you do not want to fight this Ambassador unless you're absolutely sure about it.
I'm not sure if they wanted to really fully commit there. I mean, they ultimately decided to because Dudu TP'd in. But when we watch the replay, I want first everyone to look at the side lanes. There's an Ambessa and a Galio pushing 2 turrets. They could have gotten 2 turrets here and then defended and been happy with that. They instead decide to, after this shenaniganry, right, where Lucid takes a ton of damage, Quantum has a fantastic charm, then they force the issue. Berserker's timing on his ultimate is beautiful. He still dies here. They commit, though, the teleport, and so Bulldog goes in, flashes for a triple taunt, which amounts to nothing. Dudu's teleport is also wasted. They could have, I think, really gotten 2 extra turrets on top of all of that. Well, 1, because in order to make that play happen, Bulldog did need to come mid to save it. But either way, D+, I think, feeling not so bad about that because they ended up losing neither turret. They got the turret themselves, just the exchange of 1 player.
Yep. Man, it really is.
Or 2 players.
Aiming versus DNF at this point in time, as you can see in that goal graph that we can see right there. Now has the largest gold lead in the game. Dudu is still a huge problem as Berserker just gonna get smashed here by Lucid. Taken down to 50% health, does have to use the flash, and so no Featherstorm, no flash, no ghost. Desire is pretty vulnerable as we look towards this Rift Herald, which is coming up very, very soon.
Quantum now the target here. May have to flash.
There is no one to battle dance to either, as the Zephyr does come through there from Beryl. Does literally nothing at all outside of a small amount of slow, so not literally nothing at all.
Almost.
Almost nothing.
And you know,
I like how we have 2 of the least impactful Qs game in this one, as the Gleaming Quill and the Zephyr, both of them, really just not a lot to it.
Pioshik is seen here, but they do complete their backs, and now he wants to push out Shiu before they decide to potentially start this Herald. Berserker's gonna have his ult back up, but does not have either of his critical summoners, so this is a really awkward moment here, trying to team fight for this Herald, and they may just ultimately have to give it up. You know, in terms of the ults, like, they have all of them, but they don't have enough control to actually commit to that fight right now, unless they're able to, you know, pinch aside, which they tried to, but Shiu played too respectfully, played too far back, and now D+ should be able to get this Herald, I think, relatively for free. It's tough to contest. Maybe they trade for Dragon here, as that's where DNF are now posturing, and D+ just don't want to do the trade. They want to guarantee they can get both.
I do think that Cloud Soul is so broken for DK.
It really is.
Any composition that has Janna is generally pretty good with it, but Janna can just be so annoying with just how fast she gets. And that is something that they should be able to leverage if they can get a couple of these dragons. Already one of them has been started up at DN Freaks. Not going to give this one up without a fight.
Showmaker going to miss that Shock Blast with the acceleration gate, and they don't have great engage here, to be honest. Like, D+, they're going to have to try to close the gap here. Their Aurora is so far away.
They're looking to walk their way in. Bulldog is just checking these flanks.
Dudu's angle is really good.
Flag and Drag doesn't get the knock up there onto Lucid, as that pillar position is pretty good. And now we're going to look for the 50-50. It's stolen there by Lucid. The boot back is fantastic, as we can see, but Lucid is in amongst it. He does have the subjugate, though, and it keeps him alive for so incredibly long. As Showmaker even surviving in that backline after distracting them for so long. These knockups from the Janna are the most frustrating thing in the universe. Oh my goodness, it's monsoon season here for DK, and they love it.
That was a great fight for D+. They didn't have great engage tools, but they were able to group and then close the gap, and then DNF didn't know which target to go on. They ultimately decided Lucid was the target, but he had Subjugate. He was so tanky, he survived long enough. They swapped targets, but it's just too late, and D+ get a huge team fight win. Lucid gets the secure, the steal there on the Dragon. And Showmaker's on this flank angle, can't offer much, right? Pioshik takes some damage, and then they decide, okay, don't get the smite, we go in. Lucid is charmed here. They try to focus him down. The Galio goes in, but the subjugate value is so real. Pioshik decides, okay, we turn on Showmaker, but he's got flash. He gets out, and then Berserker just doesn't have a target to hit. He's too low range, and they try to go back in, and then boom. Tornado cannot actually get in, and they're just spaced away. Really clean fighting, showcasing, I think, D+ have definitely been playing around this Janna in scrims because they know what it's capable of.
Yeah, I think Beryl's been playing it really, really well at the same time. The disengage, even if an Ambessa makes it into the backline as well,
Crazy.
Is kind of beautiful with the Monsoon. And he only sort of pressed it for a few moments. What's going to happen when they try and engage on them, and then he presses Monsoon when there's a Spirit Visage Trundle in the middle of the fight? He's not going to have it for the next little while because it's not what he's building next. Is now Shu might just be dead.
Yeah, Shu does not have a Spirit
Dash Cannon
Visage.
comes in, the flash is going to come out, not going to risk that one.
Yeah, he lost a lot of health there and his flash, but does have TP, and it's all a bait. It's all a bait.
Aiming is flanking. Okay, let's see whether Bulldog is going to die here, as Aiming is flashing after him. He's a madman! There's the rocket, and he just kills him!
All right, now DNF need to get something on the cross map here, otherwise it's just a massive free one, because remember, Shio, like I said, he has TP, so he's going to TP to the top side here and can slowly push this top wave out and deny any sort of Herald fight here for DNF. And DNF getting nothing on the exchange. I mean, sure, they get a flash out of Shio, I suppose.
Oh my goodness. This,
Aiming
like,
is, by the way, like, unquestionable palm, I want to say. Like,
yeah,
Showmaker had a good Talia game, but
yeah, not when it's Palm. If it's POG, then maybe Showmaker might get a look in, but even then, I think it's debatable. This is like a man
he has red buff
right now.
He has red buff, so Bulldog is just dead no matter what. Doesn't have flash anymore. His hitbox is too big to avoid the rocket. Aiming doesn't miss those. Down he goes. Nice flank there from Aiming. Good read. Taking his topsider, who's having a real rough series, and saying, well, I'm going to turn that into a big W. 5 kills for the Corki.
All right, Pioshik, can you do it again? Is it worth even trying to do it again?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think he was definitely dead, as Aiming is even going to be the one that grabs a little bit of extra gold.
Gold King, baby!
Yeah, I think he might be getting it this week. As, all right, Pioshik going to get the trophy treatment, as he does flag drag, but the burn is still going to come on through. There was even a rocket following him. Subjugate going to be enough to finish him off. And DK, all of a sudden, this game, like, the tempo vibes have just gotten stuck, right? They were all over the place. We were skipping. It's like you're driving down like a really, really rough road and you've got a CD on, and it's just a real problem. Maybe it was a scratched up one as well.
Maybe your cassette player isn't working too well.
Yeah, it's like you've been listening to Aqua Aquarium for a really, really long time, and you're like, oh, he's a Barbie, good, instead of actually it working.
Yeah.
That may have been an actual anecdote of my life when I was 10. The
Otacon does go over to D+ here in a return for that big win for them, and they have Soul Point. You mentioned the Cloud Soul being incredibly strong for them. You take the Otacon buff, reset, go contest Prio. There's 2 wards, one of them being a control ward here for DNF on the other side. But just watch this, like, Pioshik is trying to take his buff, his blue buff. He's like, I want it, but I'm a lonely Jarvan.
Yeah.
And Aiming is super mad that that kill didn't go to him and his rocket didn't connect, but I think he'll get over it, to be honest with you, Atlas, as they are going to take that into Otacon, get a TP out of Dudu here, but yeah, this is a fight that is going to take some real shenaniganry by D+ to, I think, lose.
I would agree. And just to finish my point, I think at this stage, DK have just gotten like an MP3 player, like the iPod has been connected.
For sure.
And now the tempo vibes, no more skipping.
Yeah, no.
Because I was making a real point, I promise. It's now we've got a bit of an engage on Lucid, who is at this stage of the game with his Dead Man's Plate, like almost impossible to kill if Beryl's there. Because Beryl sees everyone, shields him up, and has the Monsoon if there's ever any actual problem. As let's see whether Dudu is actually going to be able to start something here. Does have the Eclipse and is Ambessa, so there's a lot of shields.
I think they've lost control of this this choke point. Bulldog is going to rotate over.
Yeah, decent position here for Bulldog as well. But it's Soul Point for DK. They will be able to wrestle this one back.
Berserker eating a huge shock blast. That is why Xayah is weak into Jace.
Yep.
And the Showmaker is just staying on this flank angle. They're going to try to collapse on him, but he knows.
Yeah, Grand Entrance. Ooh, that shock blast could have really made things impossible. As Pioshik,
where are you going?
Well, to the Death Chamber, Wolf. That's where he's going. Like, Bulldog is going to get a big old taunt. Down goes Showmaker. So it's a 1-for-1 trade in the end, but the smite is still here for DK.
I mean, that's It's a Corki that has cleanse. I don't think you can go back in on
But
this.
also, like, engage on he's got Monsoon. So, like, there's no way for them to really do anything. Even if Dudu is able to find an angle. Oh, wait, maybe now, because they are nowhere near him. There is a public execution. Aiming just gets the Eye of the Storm. And the knock-up is not going to connect. He does get slowed down by the Zephyr, and the Phosphorus Bomb doesn't connect. But, man, like, it just feels like DK are just stronger.
Yeah, no, I've had so many people try to tell me, by the way, that when I talk about DNF's coordination, they're like, no, it's just Pyosik is bad. What? Watch this fight. Pyosik, look at his teammates. Look at where they are. Like, if Dudu can hit an ult there, which, by the way, he's pillared and denied with the Bulldog engage, maybe that works. The rest of his team is focused clearly elsewhere, and I think in a longer fight, even if you do get onto aiming, you probably don't kill him there, or if you barely do, you still lose the fight. You still lose everyone else while the rest of your team is focusing Showmaker there. Like, I see the angle. Like, 3 players on the top side of the map knew we can maybe kill aiming if she hits his ult. Get pillared, though.
Yeah,
and that's the end of that.
The pillar was so incredibly good.
The call was very decisive. I think it was
answered well.
Split. And yes, the pillar was great. But I just don't know if you win that fight, even if you don't get pillared there.
Well, I mean, that's a good point, but that's a different story. I like the fact that they at least had a plan, you know?
Yeah.
My cup's half full on this one. As there's another taunt. It's going to connect onto Shiu, who might need to drift in between the worlds, and he does. Gets himself out of the way. But now it is a 4,000 gold lead. There are bounties on the map.
And, I mean, Aiming has 6 kills, and he has 3 items. And he has both of his summoners now.
This Corki is very large. Look at Lucid. Just walks towards them. And there is not a whole lot of counters to the whole situation. There's the knock-up as they look for aiming. Monsoon says no. Quantum is going to be able to catch back up to him, but somehow the Ambassador is already dead. The 2 strongest members have been taken down, and maybe actually I was wrong. Maybe, in fact, Lucid is the strongest member on this team because this Trundle has taken his tribute, and he might be taking it to the Baron Pit.
You got Aiming this time. You got him this time. Unfortunately, for Aiming's KDA, it's got a 1 in the middle as Pyosik.
Okay.
He does not have flash, but maybe he could get a cone. Maybe he gets another flag in there. I don't think so.
I don't know whether Shiu survives if he tries to go for this one, as Beryl is just being annoying. He's like, "Hey Pyosik, how you doing? How's your world's medal doing from 2022? How you feeling, buddy?" And Pyosik is just going to leave. Baron is going to be secured. And yeah. Not this time, DN Freaks, is what I'm starting to feel.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. It's this moment here, again, everything is used. Barrel's fantastic peel, buys enough space, Aiming still dies, but DNF have to go so deep.
And they press every single button.
And it's like, if you kill the 80 carry by using literally everything in your kit, then you basically like lost 5 before the champions even die to kill Aiming, because they can't do anything after that, and D+ were there to punish. But Barrel's Janna performance has been phenomenal. Aiming's Corki performance has been phenomenal. They're working well in conjunction with each other. I mean, his Cloud Soul, I don't know what else to tell you guys. DNF had some nice soul lane leads, but it just doesn't matter anymore.
Yep. And look, I actually think that it's not an aiming vote. And I'm going to say this with zero bias, obviously.
Sure.
But it's Beryl.
I mean, I knew what you were going to say, yeah. And I knew there was no bias attached.
No, it's no bias. He has the genius Janna pick. He plays it beautifully. His Nico is hitting multi-man ults every time.
All right, maybe they get Showmaker, question mark?
Yeah, there we go.
He has no flash?
Probably not going to get POM, not for this one. Although, Pyosik almost just dead, as they'll trade Showmaker for an inhibitor in the mid lane. But honestly, for DNF, any way to get a bit more money is going to be a good thing.
Well, if they can survive to the Elder, and then Pyosik doesn't walk into a brush without vision because he has no vision, needs to get it, maybe they could fight for an Elder. The problem is D+ have Baron for the time that's left until Elder spawns, and they don't have the mid inhibitor. But they got Showmaker. Got him.
Yeah.
Pyosik, it's like, thank you.
Look at how god he was.
He was very got him, included, but no batteries. And it's his 4th death of the game, but I don't know if him 5 times will fix this, and they're going to need a little bit more than that, as here comes a TP.
All right, public execution onto the Trundle. Let's see whether they can actually kill him, as Between Worlds goes out the Monsoon to try and keep him alive. The taunt does come on through, as Shiu will be the first one to fall. The flash out from Lucid, the triple knock-up from these tornadoes as a teleport to come in from a respawning Showmaker will push back the DN Freaks. There are 5 members. Berserker is pretty high health, but the shock blasts are now raining down. The knock-up almost not going to really work out, though, as the Justice Punch is going to work.
They have to be so careful. If anyone dies here, D+ might be able to end. They do get away, but that was very, very scary. They can now clear this wave. 45 seconds until the Elders spawn. D+ get a free reset here. As, man, DNF, the shot calling we criticized all year long. In this game, they're just like, they're yelling one player's name and they're all going on. Unfortunately, in this case, it's Trundle again.
Yeah.
And then accidentally, I feel like they got Shiva there right on the edge. And Barrel again with a nice knock up there, nice tornado to help disengage. Showmaker has the TP, so they need to leave. He hits a big shock blast, and that is the end of that. If anyone dies, though, I think they just walk down mid and end the game. You can see how close to death DNF really are. As DNF do wrestle away prior for this Elder, they got the mid wave cleared. Maybe one flip could get them back in.
Why is Barrel just in melee range, but they're not doing anything about it?
They don't like the
Janna is just that annoying.
They only go for Trundle or Corki.
Yeah, and honestly, the Corki idea, I like that one. I think kill and aiming is going to be a... Oh, God, okay. Showmaker is supposed to be like, what is he, 1-4? He's not supposed to be very strong. Why are these shock blasts hurting
He
so
has
much?
a lot of items.
Yeah.
So he has deaths.
It is a worrying sign. It's okay. There is it's a nice little trophy there, Lucid. Ultimately, not really anything going to come of it. It's all between worlds from Sheer. He's making up for that horrible early game as he bounces around the circle, finds a gorgeous angle in the end. A double kill for aiming will be the result. And now he slows down Berserker. Showmaker chasing after him like Jaws, lurking in the ocean. He wants to kill Quantum because he knew the rest of his team was coming. And there it goes. It's a double off the back of it for aiming. And I've seen this movie before. Lucid, you can't get over that wall. You don't have flash.
Yeah, this time, though, the base is still going to die.
Wait. Oh, no, we're doing it again. Do you remember this game?
Oh, yeah.
The Nidalee versus Udyr situation?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to deny it this time because the Nexus is going to go down as DK at 2-0 over DNF. The first game, it was a close back and forth. This one, we had the CD skipping a little bit. Finally, we bought an iPod. The tempo vibes were sorted out, and DK all teeny pinged up, looking real good.
Well, if we're going with the MP3 player analogy, it felt like it was more of a Zune with the Janna coming through. It was a little, it was a little indie, sure. a little bit like everyone on the bus has an iPad, but you're like, oh, I run Janna, by the way. Did you know my Janna can play MP4s?
Yeah. Do you know it has an extra 5 megabytes of storage?
Yeah, no, that Zune guy on the bus, man. I mean, looking back, I'm like, okay, fair, but at the time, I was like, God, just let it go, man.
Yeah. If I hear you say yes, well, any more times, I'm going to come and get you.
Oh, I got to put POG and they're coming for me. I'm talking about MP3 players.
I hope it was a support vote.
You'll find out.
It probably wasn't, though, I guess.
You'll find out.
As we're aiming for the top, is that your POM comment?
I will think of it, POM comment.
Okay.
Right now, I'm thinking of how to frame this because it was a great performance from 3/5 of D+, I think, across the board. Showmaker didn't have a great time in the side lane in Game 2, but did a lot of damage and made a high impact in Game 2 anyways. And then obviously aiming was incredibly strong this series. And
I mean, Barrel was the biggest turnaround from Games 1 to Game 2, and I think that made it almost impossible for DNF. I think Shu, once again, having a really tough time, but Lucid was much better as well. And I think that that's why this looked so much more one-sided.
I think that despite the fact that D+ came in as massive favorites, like even though they lost, like at the beginning of the week, let's say, they came in as massive favorites, you know, they crushed DRX, and sure, they lost to BNK, but you still feel like, well, surely they'll get this done. This was a game where, in parts, you felt like, okay, Showmaker, a little bit of a return to form, as Talia looks great, that's an old favorite of his. Aiming looks to be a win con you could play through in the future. You're not worried this team is going to drop out of first place after watching this series, but you're not really convinced that this team could go toe-to-toe with any team in the Legend group right now.
I reckon they'd be close with Nongshim.
I don't know if you're convinced they could beat BNK in a rematch tomorrow after this series. I'm not sure you're convinced they could dispatch of DRX handedly a second time. Like that's where I'm at. But
I think
there were some good parts.
KT-DK is an interesting series.
I mean, that's always an interesting series. It was interesting when it was a Legend Rise decider as well.
That is a very good point.
Or tiebreaker, I should say. But like, D+ remaining a bit of a mystery here, but I like that it's like when they lean into, I can flex Jace mid, we can play Janna, we can have fun with League of Legends.
This is
the
why
D+
we
that
like,
wins.
this is why we like this team in Kesper so much, because they were playing around like all of these like flexibilities that they had, these massive champion pools, like the advantages that these particular players bring to the game.
I mean, it's like everyone's favorite thing about D+ after they won Worlds was just how flexible they were, and like Showmaker Canyon, that was an amazing mid-jungle duo. Early on, Lucid Showmaker looked fantastic as well, but it was those flex picks like, is Canyon gonna play Karth this jungle? And now it's like, okay, is Beryl gonna play Janna? What else has he got? You know, remember Beryl played Hui for KT? Like, we know he has those champions in, and we know they can flex Jace to mid, give it to Showmaker. He's had phenomenal performances on this pick in the past. I want to see D+ lean into this. And maybe with CV Max now at the helm, loves his crazy draft, so we don't always agree with. Maybe this is the way. Just play through aiming, play through picking Janna to protect aiming. I don't care what it is, but I want to see this D+ that we saw in Game 2 in most of D+ games. Please, I think it's what D+ fans deserve.
I agree. This wasn't what, you know, Berserker deserved, though, as aiming picked up those 3 kills and really ran with them in this particular game. And you can, like, I can imagine the comms after that initial play where it was actually a positive gold swing for DNF, but it was a triple kill for aiming. And you could imagine DK were like, all right, we win. That's what I assume happened. They were obviously so confident that this guy could get it done. What is that? 21-1-16.
Yeah.
It's not a bad KDA. That's
pretty good.
That's close to 40. It's doing relatively well. I think maybe could be in contention for Gold King once again, unless
Ruler did get a lot of,
yeah,
he did get a lot of gold, didn't he?
Might be a bit of that. But now we get a conversation with aiming as well to discuss what has been happening over in the DK camp, and you know how CV Max has been fitting into the squad as well, and how they're going to fix some of the obvious woes that they've been going through.
Rookies got to step it up. We know what they're capable of. We've seen it already. We have seen it so often. We have seen it. We've seen Shu be like one of the best top lane prospects we've seen in a while. Like, I want to see it every series.
Yep, I would agree. But now it is time for us to throw it over to the interview with Amy.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Dear for the POM interview translation, joined by Aiming Ping on the side of D+ Kia. You qualified for the play-ins. How do you feel? First of all, yeah, qualifying for play-ins feels great. And I think I'm even happier that we're able to win today. Before talking about the game, we have to talk about your jersey. It's just so adorable. How do you like it? Yeah, when I first got it, you know, the color is so cute and it's really pretty, and I just really wanted to keep it for myself. Give us a little spin. It says Aiming Ping, my nickname in the bag. I'm a little embarrassed about that, but I'm still really happy. Aiming, so which Heartspring jersey do you think is the cutest? I think the pink and the blue character patch goes really well today. And I feel like it just stands out and it just shines through. So I feel like that's what really made me shine in game today. Surprisingly, this is actually your first POM this year. So were you upset at all for not getting any until now? You know, I used to get a lot a long time ago, so it's okay. I mean, I feel like they used to give me POM all the time, but yeah, lately I haven't been getting any. But I know that my teammates actually deserve it. They've been doing really well. And you had some explosive gameplay with Sivir and Corki, so what are your thoughts on your performance today? Personally, there are a lot left to be desired, so I would say maybe about 8 out of 10. And actually, in game 1, after the Dragon and Baron steal, your enemy seemed to rise up. So what did they give you trouble with? I feel like every objective in game 1, we were actually pushed out and zoned away. So I think in game 2, we really tried to not get zoned out and really focus on getting those objectives secured. And yeah, afterwards, the feedback screen showed CV Max passionately leading a discussion. So what was that feedback? Yeah, CMAC Ping. Honestly, he's such a passionate person. And I feel like that's just so admirable. I feel like it actually does influence a lot of people around him in a positive way. So I think we're actually following his footsteps in a good way. In game 2, with Beryl locking her in, we got to see Janna for the first time after 1,292 days in the LCK. Actually, Beryl is really good at playing sharp champions, and he was actually really confident in this pick. Janna is really good with how her shields are so strong and just disrupting the enemy's front line, and just their setup is actually really a big strength and pro when it comes to having Janna in your team. And in game 2, the enemy Ambessa kept getting solo kills, scaling as intended. So what was the game plan to deal with her? Actually, yeah, in the bot lane, we were having a really good time. We were like, oh, it's going so smoothly. And then all of a sudden, I know Showmaker, Showmaping, he was actually getting picked off by the Ambessa. But honestly, we just had to keep our head in the game and just play it out. Have you noticed that fan sign? Do you like it? Yeah, I noticed that I yawn a lot during game. I think it's really funny. It's very cute. She did a great job. And now that play-ins are locked in, it's time to aim higher. Your next opponent is DRX. What are your goals? I feel like our team, individually and team-wise, I feel like we are evolving over time. So I feel like reflecting back on myself, I feel like I'm doing the best I have this year especially. So I hope that we are able to continue rising higher and performing better. And that's the end of the interview with Aiming Ping, and back to the space. Thank you.